USA showed the way yesterday and their neighbours Canada followed suit. They've created history. It's their first win in T20 World Cups. It's the first time that they've defended a sub-150 total. Yet again, a team in green feels the blues because Ireland have lost by 12 runs. Very, very impressive bowling card there for Canada. They put on 137 runs and they have managed to contain Ireland for 125 in their 20 overs. We are back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm still here with my Wikipedias, Parthiv and Mr. Joy Bhattacharya. Welcome, gentlemen. Canada is going to be very happy with what they've done. They're going to tell their neighbours, if you win, we can win too.
Absolutely. I thought they played a fantastic brand of cricket. They set a really good total. And then, I just thought there's amazing bowling. In the middle, those two spinners, Junaid Siddiqui, and the captain, they were so good through those middle overs. And right at the end, Dockrell, and they made a run for it. They tried to make a difference, but it just wasn't enough finally.
Well, an associate nation beating a full member team. Yes, Ireland still young. You call them like the kids in Test cricket. But still, can we call it an upset, Parthiv?
Still, it's a big win for Canada. There is no doubt about it. I think, coming into this game, if you compare both the teams, you would always say that Ireland was probably a favourite to start with. But Canada played better cricket today. I thought, they were more disciplined in their batting and in their bowling both. They wanted to reach at 140, which they did. Then after that, they fielded brilliantly. Yes, there was a couple of misfieldings, but there were some brilliant catches. There was brilliant run out as well. And they were very disciplined in their bowling. I think that was the most important part, and that's something which we've been talking about, that you on this pitches you have to just be disciplined. You don't have to try and do a lot of things. Once you try to do a lot of things, you would concede runs, and that's exactly what Canada conceded runs when they tried to do few things in slog overs. Otherwise, till then they were completely in control, and it never looked like that Ireland was going to chase this target.
But 137, yes, I know that this is a tricky target. Yes, I know that this pitch, the conditions are not very conducive to the batters. But considering what the experience Ireland has, 137, they played a few fall shots, lost too many wickets up in the top, too many dot balls in those first 30 overs. Do you think that's where they faltered?
Yeah, absolutely. I think their big problem was the fact that they got stuck in a very bad situation by the fact that Sterling and Balbirnie played 5 overs but could not set themselves. So we didn't want them to hit in the first 5 overs. But once they set themselves, they should have taken it further there. And both of them got out after eating up those overs, trying to force the pace. They couldn't do it. They got out. Remember, in the first 10 overs, you had 2 boundaries, 2 fours. So that immediately told you that that's putting the rest of the side under a lot of pressure. And I thought that, Dockrell and Adair did a fantastic job. I think that 62-run partnership was the real base of what they did. And, they were helped by some, Kalim Sana and all, just, as I said, losing their heads for a bit. And it happens. You panic a bit, a couple of boundaries go, a couple of fielders were perhaps too far in. Those things can happen in situations like that. But after that, I think they managed to compose themselves. And in the end, it was just a bridge too far for Ireland to reach.
PP, Ireland did better than Canada in their last 5, but they just lost way too many wickets up at the top. We see here the last 5, they went at 10.20 and Canada were at 9, but just too many wickets between the 7th to the 15th.
Yeah, too many wickets and not too many runs both. I think, Canada did get so many runs as well, but they didn't lose out on those wickets. But Ireland, if you look at the middle over 7 to 10, only 19 runs and losing 3 wickets. Once again, it was about playing those dot balls. Once you play so many dot balls, that forces you to play a bigger shots, and that is not going to be a percentage shot on this kind of pitch, and especially on this kind of ground where one side will always be bigger, and the captains are smart enough to make sure that they'll force you to hit on a bigger side, and then it becomes a very, very risky shot. So yeah, I thought this would be about, you would expect Ireland to be slightly smarter than this and try and understand the conditions of the ground and pitch, and not try and go for so many big shots. They could have maybe try and look for those 5 or 6 runs and over, and played a lesser number of dot balls. And we saw what can happen under pressure. Under pressure, they did get a lot of runs in last 3 overs. Then run rate was about 10. So that the middle over, that's where Ireland lost the plot and they didn't rotate it the strike.
We'll have a look at the batting card because the lower order, of course, got the runs in, but those top five, nothing really from them.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. 2 consecutive matches now. Balwani, Sterling, Lorcan Tucker, Harry Tector, Curtis Camphor. That's a pretty decent batting lineup. And for
a lot of experience as well.
Exactly, for 2 consecutive matches, they have given us absolutely nothing. And I think that is the basic. And that's a big issue.
Yeah, just look at the number of balls in top 5.
Yes.
Everyone's strike. Usually, I don't want to talk so much about the strike rate in this World Cup, but it has to be somewhere around 100, 110 at least. But everyone has played under 100 and played so many balls.
That kind of adds the pressure on so much later.
Yeah, and that's when you see you have to play big shots. Otherwise, you're only catching up. But you have to make sure that you don't go too far from your required run rate. That's what USA did it brilliantly yesterday. They never let the game go too far. Here, Ireland let the game go to 12s and 13s that required run rate. And these are not the pitches where you'll get those 12s and 13s consistently.
But then that partnership in the lower order kind of resurrected their innings again to at least get them so close. Otherwise,
absolutely. Dare and Doctor, look at that. 62 of 41. Look at those strike rates. 25 of 17, 34 of 24. They are very decent strike rates. And that's the kind of knock that you expect. I mean, so they did their job. They took Ireland perilously close.
Yes.
And I think that's even the previous match. I think the late order batting, has performed for them. But unless their top order gives them a base, something to work with, it's going to be very difficult. And as a result of this, what has happened is, if we thought this group was interesting after yesterday's result, today's result has added another wrinkle to it altogether.
Even more scenarios.com.
Absolutely. Yes. And the one team that will be celebrating today is Pakistan. Because Pakistan would have felt under danger from Ireland being the second team out here. And saying that, Ireland win 2 matches because Ireland's only lost to India.
Yes.
Yep.
But now that Ireland has lost to Canada,
it opens it up much more.
Much more. Yes. Now the team to be worried about to take their displaced Pakistan as the second team, perhaps you're looking at the US.
Yeah.
So US plays Ireland next, and if US beat Ireland, then they go up. Pakistan fall down.
Absolutely.
So Pakistan is under pressure here. I think USA can carry that momentum. But having said that when we look at the partnership again, just throwing that numbers where they got 41 of 62 balls. So that is 9 and over. So they were chasing about 7 and over from the start with. So even though they were ahead of their run rate and they were getting 2 runs extra than 1 in and over, but still they were chasing 12 and 13. And that's where Ireland has lost the game here.
Yeah, because it was the power play, the first 10 overs. We spoke about it in the comm box. Just too many dot balls, only 2 fours given. So clearly they had a plan when they went out to bowl and they executed that plan very well. We'll have a look at the bowling card. Of course, we spoke about that peach of a delivery that the captain bowled to get Harry Tector out. He got him out pretty early, and he's one of the key batters as well. But the spinners very impressive today, Joyda.
Absolutely. And this is another big thing, that you look at them, they bowled 8 overs of spin. Ireland has bowled only 2 overs of spin. And in circumstances like this, if you can spin it, your field is back, and you can keep the ball in the right place. And it was very interesting that whenever they wanted to get a wicket, when Junaid Siddiqui was getting hit, when was he getting hit? He was getting hit the moment he was putting any pace on the ball. The next ball immediately, he goes at 90, gets whacked for a boundary. The next ball is at 66, the guy hits it as hard as he can and it barely goes. So that's the whole point of here. If you take pace off as a spinner and the boundaries are reasonably large and they have to hit to the larger end, it's very difficult to force the pace against spinners. I mean, you need a Klassen kind of batsman who has that kind of power to do it. Not everyone can.
But the Pacers, Parthiv, what can we learn from this pitch? You were talking about it, that just stick to the basics. If you stick to the basics, it's going to be enough on this pitch.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. That's exactly what Canada bowlers were doing till only the 17th and 19th over. That's when they tried to bowl those Yorkers. That's when they tried to bowl those, trying to create angles which you don't need on this kind of a pitch. If you look at the bowling card again, it's like they bowled 53 dot balls. So that is almost like 9 overs of bowling dot balls. That's a huge number. That means you are looking at 137 chasing in 11 overs. And that's not going to happen on this kind of a pitch. So I think, you got to give credit to Canada. This is what happens with, maybe so-called smaller team, when you reach closer to the target, that's when you try and that the last step is always
Getting over the
harder.
hump,
Getting over the line, it's always difficult, and that's what happened yesterday also with USA, and this is what happened with Canada also, I think. But this kind of victories will give them a lot of confidence that we can go over the line and learn it from this kind of games where you have to maintain, you have to keep calm. I think we saw a lot of players telling each other that we need to keep calm, that we are in control of the game, and that's exactly what you want. You want to handle the pressure, because skill is important, but at this level you need to handle the pressure, and that's what Canada did really well.
I think the captain led from the front very well. We could see him being very calm. Of course, he bowled very well, but also just the way he tossed his bowlers around, just that composure he had on the ground, I think speaks of what Parthiv's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. He read the pitch right. He wanted to bowl also. And I think the thing about it is that you see what happens. So, moment a bowler was trying to bowl, Kaleem Sana is trying to bowl the Yorker, and then he's going round the wicket. He's just opening up the entire angle of the game. Okay, and the moment he stopped doing that, went back over the wicket, bowled a normal length delivery. Again, you're just whacking at it. You can't get it. It's going straight to the keeper. So that's the thing. The important thing is that what I cannot stress this too much, that what was the normal thing, what the way normally T20 matches are played. You're not going to play matches like this in pitches like this. You don't need to bowl that length. You don't need to bowl that Yorker in the middle. You can bowl the normal ball and you'll get away with it out here. And that's one thing therefore players actually have to unlearn habits that they have. Okay, I have to bring the Yorker out now. And the Yorker is not the weapon to use out here.
So back of a length is the correct area to bowl?
Exactly, I think so. Bowling that back of the length between that 6 meter to 8 meter length, keep consistently bowling those length balls and try and find that length which traditionally hits the top of the off stump. I think that's the length which bowlers should be thinking of. And once they get it right, because of the variable of a bounce which we get, it's not going to be easy. And then playing across the line or hitting straight, it's going to be a challenge for every batter. And because the pace is also the ball's not coming at certain pace. It is as a two-pace wicket. So so there's batters who will have to create more chances. Batters who will have to take those onus on themselves. Here, it's completely different than what it was in IPL. Here, bowlers need to be more confident, and they have to just stick to what it is, just the normal traditional back of the length which goes and to hit the top of the off.
All right, I want to now have a look at that points table, because Joyda, you briefly spoke about it, but this points table is open to everything right now.
Absolutely.
And surprisingly, if we remember that this island team has beaten Pakistan, and now Canada has beaten this island team, so Pakistan should not take Canada lying down at all.
No. Pakistan-Canada it's a very important match for that. Before that, Pakistan has to get past India as well. So there's a lot going on there. Then beat Ireland. I think Pakistan has to tell itself, whatever it is, 4 points I have to ensure somehow. And then if I can beat India and get to 6, that's really good for me. But that's what it tells you, that this is a group that has opened up a lot. You have now 2 big results out here, and that's the big thing that's going to happen.
I mean, who would have thought USA
at the top of the table?
At the top. I mean, that's and imagine they've gotten straight entry. They did not even qualify here because just they were hosting the World Cup there. They got a straight entry, and now they are topping the table, which is India and Pakistan.
But the interesting thing is, if they didn't get a straight entry, then likely Canada would not have played.
True.
Because they would have had to, Canada is basically they play the Americas tournament together from which one qualifies. So basically Canada would not have played, and Canada today showed us that it really deserved
They deserve to be there.
Yeah.
But today's game, like I said in the pre-match show, there were lots of people watching this game for many different reasons. But that one big reason, of course, is that New York pitch and that outfield. So what have we learned from today's game? Can India feel a little relaxed? Can Pakistan see that, okay, this is how we should be bowling? Game plans will be made according to what we've seen today?
So, in my opinion, and Parthiv will give a more cricket in this thing, my opinion, this is like my Hindi in class 7, okay? So, in the first examination, 28, okay? Now at least I've got pass
42.
marks. Yeah, I've got pass marks. I'm just there. But I'm nowhere becoming a, getting a...
You're not becoming Joy Bhattacharya.
I'm not getting a star, so it's pass mark pitch. So that's the one thing, but it definitely looks better than it was last time.
Yeah, so without a doubt, I think pitch has gotten better. You can see the hard work which been put in. See, this is what was expected. When we started, the scores were about 90, 95, 96, but at least they've now reached to 140. 140 to 140 against 127. We could have had any kind of a game this way. So that's what you want. Ideal thinking, if you want to say 180, 190, but that's not going to happen. But 140, 150 is good enough. I think, you got to praise the groundsman there just to, because it's not an easy thing to do, because the turnaround is so less a time. I mean, having said and having played a lot of cricket, once you've laid some kind of pitch, it cannot just change in a week's time. It is very, very difficult. So from looking at that point of view, I think groundsmen have done a good job from where they were to now where they are.
So just passing marks is what Joy Bhattacharya has given this pitch. But do you see more spinners playing in the India Park game from both teams?
I think spinners played well today, and these conditions, especially if you're bowling on one side of the pitch and spinners doing, again, if you have variable bounce and the spinners keeping it there inside, then everyone's the LBW candidate. Here, this is not the kind of pitch that you necessarily need to bowl, wide and try and tempt the guy to go and have a whack at it. You can actually go at the stumps, and because of the variable nature of the pitch and the little bit of help it offers and the change in bounce it's offering, it's not easy for a batter to hit you. He has to take chances against you, and that's the thing out here. When a pitch has a bit of demon in it, then let the pitch do your work. You don't need to. The more you do, I think, then you sort of cancel each other out.
I don't see India changing their batting lineup because I think they already have two spinners in Akshar and Jadeja, and they've got four fast bowlers also. Obviously Siraj played, Arshdeep's there, Bumrah's there, and Hardik also has been bowling a fair bit since IPL. So you've got your good balance about fast bowlers and spinners. The other thing is the question of Kuldeep comes into play. But then if you're talking about Kuldeep, then at number 8 you won't have anyone. So on a pitch like this, you need cushion extra batter at number 8, and that is the reason why I don't see India changing their playing 11. But looking at Pakistan, they'll have to think of probably Imad Wasim, whether he's fit or not. If he's fit, then he might just comes in place of one of the fast bowler, because they've played with four fast bowlers. So then they have to play Shadab. So they because.
They also kept that mystery spin of Abrar.
Abrar, but then it becomes
batter.
The
batter. Then they'll miss out on a batter because they are in a bit of a trouble there.
Yeah, because they're at 7. They're starting to go with the fast bowlers coming in. So I think that's the point. They have a long tail, and they need just none of their tail really bats that much. I mean, Shaheen can swing the bat, but it's not something you can depend upon. So. Yeah.
But they might still get that mystery spinner in place of Mohammad Amir. So they can get Abrar. So they can get Nasim Shah, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Haris Rauf, and then Shadab and Abrar. So that's how the bowling lineup will look like. And if something happens, and Ifti Chacha can anyway come in and bowl those couple of off spinners.
Ifti Chacha is always there, isn't he? But of course, this game is happening day after tomorrow. We were discussing it because of that New York pitch. We have a very big game happening tomorrow, the Ashes rivalry. Of course, England taking on Australia at Barbados. This is match number 17, and Australia and England have both played. Australia won their game against Oman. England had a washed out game. We'll talk about England first because they were a little nervous the other day. 90 in the 10 overs against Scotland.
Yeah, 90 in 10 overs, and it didn't look. I mean, they didn't look particularly impressive for me. I mean, Chris Jordan got hit. None of the fast bowlers. Mark Wood looked quick, but didn't really get that much off the pitch. This is 90, going for 90 against Scotland. They will have alarm bells ringing as well in the England camp, because they've not performed at their best. And if the match had been played, it could have been a very dodgy match for them to play.
So alarm bells ringing. Does that mean Chris Jordan sits out? Parthiv, do you see Sam Curran coming in? Do you see changes at all?
Yeah, I
the
think
bowling.
they might just look at there whether Sam Curran can use him because of the slightly bigger, squarer boundaries, slow pitch. His cutters will come into play. I think that's something which they can think of. Ball does swing a bit initially as well, and Chris Jordan is not traditionally a
Yes.
bowler who bowls with the new ball, but because the kind of bowling lineup they have to bowl him in power play, and Chris Jordan to me is like those Air Jordan. Is always expensive.
There's IPL.
So they'll have to probably make sure get someone in Sam Curran
Yes.
will bring in that variety and he can give you that batting cushion as well.
And as far as the batting goes, if Phil Salt, Will Jacks, Joss Butler carry the form that they had during the IPL, England can sit back and say, we don't mind the expense of Chris Jordan, but we need the batting to fire.
Yeah, they need the batting to fire, and this is their batting lineup.
Yes.
And I think even if they have one or two, last match they didn't get a chance to play, even if they have one or two failures, this is the batting lineup they're going up. Because if you look at it, their only replacement in batting is Ben Duckett. And I don't think he's their first option. They think this is the team to do it, and they have everything covered. They have hitters up front, they have guys like Joss Butler, they have Will Jacks who can attack. Okay, but they also have players like Harry Brook who can play a more traditional style of cricket. And I think the England batting side doesn't have any problem with it. If now Moeen can give them enough support, Adil Rashid can give it to them and their fast bowlers perform, that is the worry that England has right now.
Yes.
I think the batting is something that they think they have a pretty good unit right now.
All right, then we have to have a look at Australia's team. They played against Oman. David Warner, Stoinis look good. And of course, they always want David Warner to fire. Stoinis also getting them those wickets. Of course, Glenn Maxwell was questionable again. His form has been an issue. We've spoken about it a lot. No Pat Cummins. Do you see him coming in tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that's probably the reason why, because they were playing against Oman, that is the reason why Nathan Ellis played ahead of Pat Cummins. Looking at the workload, having Pat Cummins having played the full IPL, I think that could be the reason why he didn't play that first game. So I see him coming into the playing 11 for sure. And that otherwise, for one good positive which Australia had was David Warner getting those runs.
Yes.
He got 56 of 51, but that's fine. He got time in the middle. Marcus Stoinis is a very, very important wheel in that team, because if he gets runs, his confidence also carries on with the ball, and that's exactly what happened. And he's someone who's a power hitter in this team, so they need him to fire. And Maxwell's always been their player where they would, every time you would expect him to get runs. So just you always get this kind of performance from him. Either you will get a very, very big performance or you will get nothing.
Good.
And then that kind of chance space, a lot of teams are ready to take it. And Australia is also hoping that Maxwell will come through and play an inning like what he played against Afghanistan in 50 over World Cup.
I think everyone always hopes that Maxwell does that, but Maxwell, the bowler, also can be utilised in these pitches.
No, definitely can be utilised, and that's what he's saying is so true. That what happens is you have temperamental players like this, but they're match winners. So you say that the 10 of us can carry the load, but the day he clicks, he'll take the match, And everyone wants one or two match winners like that. I mean, for me, England has, they carry Jofra like that. They really feel Jofra is like, he's one of those players who can really, on his day, really do it.
Yes.
And though he's still not in the form, there are bowlers who are in better form than him, but they feel that if they persist with him, he gives them that some magical extra.
So who's going to be the magical player tomorrow, your players to watch out for?
My player to watch out for Australia is Travis Head. He's in good form. He didn't get runs. He didn't get a lot of love. Since playoff, he hasn't got a run in IPL. So I think Travis Head is somebody who will be very hungry to score runs. So for Australia, Travis Head.
And for you?
For me, Mitch Marsh, he's captain. I think he really, and I think what happens is if he bats well and he can start bowling a couple of overs, start giving them overs, then they have so many all-rounders that team is very difficult to beat, because, they bat up to 8, 9, they bowl, they have 6, 7 bowlers bowling. So it's a very good side, but Mitch Marsh, in the T20 unit, Mitch Marsh is their main player.
And for England?
For England, I think Jofra, just because the kind of length which he bowls, we've seen if someone bowls those bouncers to Travis Head or David Warner or even to Mitch Marsh with that steep bounce, he can trouble those Australian batters. So, if he can get a couple of wickets early on, I think England can get on the roll. So, to me, Jofra Archer.
I think England is really dependent on Jos Butler. And I think he's a big player for them.
Yes.
His tournament will determine, his form will determine a lot of how England does in this tournament.
Okay, I want to quickly have a look at their group and the points and who stands where, because this is imperative. Scotland sitting up there, and it's imperative for the defending champions England to win tomorrow, because they have had that washed out game. So for England, there'll be more pressure tomorrow.
Definitely England, there'll be more pressure tomorrow, because if England lose to Australia, because they have that washed out game, and now if Scotland go and win all their matches, then it could come down to a run rate between them and Scotland, assuming Scotland also lose to Australia. So that's the dangerous thing. Whenever you have a washout of a test team versus an associate nation team, the test team is at a huge disadvantage, because that means that a game that they should have won has gone to a draw.
Yes.
And that's a game now Scotland will not lose. It's not that they will win it, but they will not lose that game. And therefore England will be worried about that point difference, because now they'll be watching Scotland's games very carefully.
All right, what we are worried about is having answered Mr. Joy Bhattacharya's question or not. That's the worry time now. Let's have a look at the question. We didn't get it right, but I'm sure someone did. Joy, they're all yours.
No, just if you don't include players from the subcontinent, which cricketer has the most runs? And of course, the top three cricketers there are from the subcontinent: Babar Azam, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. But the man who's in fourth place, very surprisingly, is Paul Sterling.
Ooh.
So 3,591 runs. So, I mean, Paul Sterling. So, that's the thing that we don't realize, that because they play so much T20 cricket even before the associates, Sterling is one of the T20 greats. And unfortunately, he's not having a great tournament so far. But just want to recognize what a good player he is.
Well, for them, they would have wished he'd gotten some runs today. But let's have a look at who's gotten it right and who's gotten it quickest. Arvind Champ. AKD Champ has gotten it correct. Well done, Champ. Congratulations on getting it correct. This might have been very easy for you. So tomorrow, Joyda will come with a tougher one for you. What has been tough has been our guessing game, but there has been a winner
it hasn't
again.
been that tough for you.
There has been a winner again.
Yeah, both of us are yet to open our account. But anyways, well done, Saiyami.
Thank you. All right, but even if this is those passing marks, you said this pitch got just passing. Even if I get it right, I don't move beyond number 2. So I don't understand this maths.
It's 50% every day.
Just not moving ahead.
No, because you got how many today? You got one out.
One right.
Yeah, so 1 out of 2 will only get you 50%.
I know, but I like to see that name go
You're
up.
very
which is not
greedy.
happening.
Yeah,
I've got a 3 out of 3. It's been a hat trick.
bar.
No,
It's been a hat trick. I've never gotten a hat trick in life. It's at least a hat trick in my prediction game. So.
Good luck for when you're doing it next weekend.
Our backbenchers are looking at
So look at us. We are giving you advice who's got none on the board.
But you will hopefully get off the mark tomorrow. You're both coming tomorrow.
I'm just trying to understand. Harshaba is on 0.
Yes.
I'm also on 0. Joyda is also on 0. But then why Harshaba is on ahead of us? Why is on top?
Okay, I'll tell you why he is. He's played lesser games. So for example, suppose I played 8 games.
Yeah.
9th game I get 1. So I'm 1 out of 9. Harsha's played only 4 games. So tomorrow if he gets even 1, he's 1 out of 5. So because we played lesser games, he's actually ahead of us. But yeah, but 0 is still 0.
I thought when I come on to Cricbuzz, my whole thing was I'll get to chat cricket and it'll just be all cricket conversations. But since the IPL, there's so much of number conversations, and this prediction game has added even more numbers to our life. So it's too complicating and too exhausting.
Yeah.
So
I think what we'll do from tomorrow onwards is, after we do our score guesses, we'll take an exit poll. Quick exit poll, because they're believed to be very accurate nowadays. So.
And another confusing thing is now she'll have to remember when are we coming live tomorrow.
Yeah, too many things to remember. So I'm tired thinking of these numbers, and that is what has exhausted me. Of course, after watching that super over game yesterday, today we thought we might see another super over, which didn't happen. But it's the maths that has exhausted me. So I want to get some rest and sleep. I know that you all don't get tired at all, because you all are the Wikipedias who have all the knowledge. So I have to excuse myself. So thank you so much for today, for making it fun, for giving me all. I've forgotten the word that we... Do you remember the word?
No.
Discodecaphobia.
triskaidekaphobia is the word. It's my learning for the day. So thank you, Joyda. Thank you, PP, for always being entertaining. And we'll let you go for your after party, Joyda. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for all of you who've watched today. I'll give this to you all again. Tomorrow's game is a 10:30 game. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Gentlemen, 10:30 game. So we will be seeing you all here at 10 p.m. Don't forget that. 10 p.m. tomorrow, we'll be seeing you all here. Let's see who gets the prediction game right as well and who wins the big Ashes contest between England and Australia. I have to go rest because I'm tired. So we will see you all tomorrow at 10 p.m. Good night and goodbye.